Hello there, good evening, welcome to ITV News. This is Thursday night's calendar.
Hello, here are tonight's main stories.
Sheffield United go back into the big time.
After the promotion comes the party. We're live in Sheffield, where the Blades open-top bus parade is about to arrive. Also tonight...
We're just all late for work all the time, unless we drive in.
It's all changed for TransPennine Express. After months of cancellations, it's the end of the line, with the operator's services destined to be nationalised.
It's clear that both the contract and the underlying relationships must be reset.
As Bradford remembers the Valley Parade disaster. One survivor attends the service for the very first time.
And it's been a very lively day weather-wise in the skies above the Calendar region today. Are we finally saying goodbye to the showers as we head into Friday? All the detail a little later on.
Hello and thanks for joining us. Welcome to a special calendar. Let's start tonight in Sheffield as thousands of fans await their heroes from the red and white side of town, Sheffield United, the Blades, who are back in the big time next season.
Yes, it's been a season to remember, hasn't it, after United clinched promotion from the Championship. Sampling the atmosphere right now is Chris Dawkes. Chris.
Yes, I'm on the Town Hall balcony here in Sheffield, and I've got to say, the weather is playing ball. Good news for the hundreds of fans who've already gathered here in Sheffield Town Centre to salute their promotion heroes. Sheffield United back in the Premier League. It's just over 2 weeks now since that magical night down at Bramhall Lane when the Blades ensured second spot in the Championship with victory over West Brom. Later in the programme, we'll be speaking to a few people with red and white flowing through their veins, and also hearing from those who've earned Sheffield United their place back in the big time.
I'm on one of the buses currently weaving its way through this steel city as Sheffield United celebrate their promotion to the Premier League. Hundreds of fans are currently following the route round here. They've been following this bus all the way from the ground. The players are currently enjoying this parade. They're certainly having a party. We're currently on one of the buses and we'll be hearing from some of these players later in the programme. But for now, it's back to the studio.
Arif Ahmed, thank you so much. Live in Sheffield, where it's very noisy.
Yes, it certainly is. Looks fantastic there. We'll be back in Sheffield later in the programme to see how they're getting on.
OK, well, to some other news of the day. And after a year of delays and cancellations, TransPennine Express, which runs train services across our region, will be nationalised by the government.
Yes, the firm was put on a recovery plan in February, which did see some improvements. Cancellations fell by 40%.
But after as many as 1 in 6 services were cancelled in March, today government patience reached the end of the line and the firm was stripped of its franchise. Our political correspondent Katie Oscroft reports now on how it's all changed for the under-fire operator.
After months of cancellations, delays and misery for passengers, the government has stopped TransPennine Express in its tracks. Its unreliable services have affected the lives of people like lecturer Talia Rochester, travelling from Huddersfield for more than a year.
I'm late for work constantly. I think it became such a big issue that they just had to get used to it because we were all in the same boat.
That's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not great, but it's kind of almost become part of the culture round here. We're just all late for work all the time unless we drive in.
Few passengers have a good word for the service. 1 in 5 trains were cancelled in March. Many couldn't tell the difference between a day in which rail staff were on strike and a normal day.
Cancellations, late running services, just short notice of a lack of information generally. So just basically not good.
I'm quite glad they've lost it actually, because hopefully the trains might run a bit better now.
What sort of experiences have you had?
Just when you come and the platforms are really full because so many trains are cancelled.
They keep saying leave your car at home, but you can't.
Service levels have for too long been unacceptable.
In the Commons today, the Transport Secretary sounded a note of caution as he explained the service will be run by the operator of last resort on behalf of the government.
To achieve the performance levels I expect that passengers deserve and that the northern economy needs, it's clear that both the contract and the underlying relationships must be reset. It would be misguided for anyone to think this is an instant solution.
This is a victory today for commuters in the north.
West Yorkshire Mayor Tracy Brabin has long called for TransPennine to be stripped of its franchise.
Well, there's no doubt that the north has suffered because of the inability for TransPennine to run a decent service, and commuters are sick to the back teeth, so I really welcome this decision by government.
Lots of people are being inconvenienced by the issues at TransPennine, and simply nationalising it is in some ways a sop, because what we really need is to address the underlying issues. And unfortunately, 2 transport secretaries ago, starting a war to please the right-wing media and distract from strikes that were coming with people like the nurses and create, I would argue, an environment the government thought they could win in, has left us with this massive mess, and it's now for the government to fix the mess that they have caused.
Passengers want to see improvements back on the timetable soon.
The TransPennine Express has been cancelling more trains than any other operator, according to some new figures that we've seen released today. The equivalent of almost 17% in the 4 weeks to the end of March. So can passengers expect to see an improvement anytime soon?
Well, Michael, unfortunately, the answer to that is no. Passengers travelling in and out of this station tonight on TransPennine trains will see no difference when they come back in the morning, and not even on May the 28th when the contract is officially taken off the operator. The reason for that is, well, the government will be sending out, when it takes over, the same trains, the same staff, and there'll be the same stalemate over overtime working. There is currently no agreement with the unions for working overtime for drivers to fill those gaps, causing cancellations. And this is what the RMT had to say about that today.
I think during the pandemic, people realised there's a lot more to life than actually working the days off. And people are appreciating the time off with the family a lot more. And, you know, who are these companies to say you must work your overtime? We don't live in a dictatorship. So people are entitled to the time off. And what the companies need to do is actually employ enough people to run a proper train service.
Well, the hope is that this reset, as the Transport Secretary called it in the Commons today, will perhaps short-term at least improve morale for staff as well as passengers, and maybe long-term we will start to see on those TransPennine routes the trains actually running mainly on time.
Yes, we shall see. Katie Oscroft at Leeds train station. Thank you.
Well, let's get some more news from around the region now. A major visitor attraction in Leeds was forced to close today after a fire. Dozens of firefighters were called to the Temple Newsome estate to tackle the blaze, which broke out in a farm building around 9 this morning. The barn, which is currently being renovated, does not house any animals or livestock. The cause of the blaze is being investigated.
A man's been jailed after reaching speeds of 145 miles an hour in a police chase immediately after he'd been given a driving ban in court in Harrogate.
Received, we are hard shoulder 100. Still hard shoulder, risk is high currently.
Just after being convicted for drug driving in March, 45-year-old Jason Ryder left the court building and drove off in his Audi. He was spotted by officers and a high-speed chase started. He was seen weaving in and out of traffic on the A1 and A59 in North Yorkshire before a stinger was used to deflate his tyres. Ryder was today sentenced to 10 months in jail for dangerous driving.
It's been 38 years since the fire which ravaged Bradford City's stadium, injuring 265 people and killing 56 more.
Every year those affected turn out on the anniversary to remember. But today's ceremony saw some overcome huge odds to get there, with one man there for the first time since he was injured in the tragedy.
And this year it was even more poignant after the loss of Professor David Sharp, who pioneered the city's burns unit. Helen Steele reports.
Every year at the same time, bells ring out across Bradford, reminding the victims of the 1985 football disaster they're not alone. But until today, the tragedy had left Qassam Shibu isolated.
I've never been to any gathering at all. that experience will never go, ever.
And it's taken me 38 years
It's
to come
taken
here.
me 38 years to come first time here.
Paul Ridgewell has come every year, but last month he had an accident which left him unable to walk. This morning, hospital staff agreed to help him get to the service.
Lost my girlfriend and 3 friends that day, and they're doing physio on the 56. I didn't think I was going to come this year, but I've made it. You know, with help from the hospital staff. You know, I can't thank them enough for getting me here.
The fire started during a match against Lincoln City at Valley Parade. It engulfed the main stand in less than 4 minutes. In response, the Bradford Burns unit was set up by Professor David Sharp, who was later awarded an OBE.
But that day, ordinary people did extraordinary things.
Today, tributes paid to him too, after his death a few weeks ago.
He not only did all that work at the time of the fire or in the immediate aftermath of the fire, he set up the Plastic Surgery Burns Research Unit, and that's become one of the leading research units in the world for this type of work.
A year of loss, the chance to work through painful memories, but the chance too to make new ones.
It does help me a lot seeing this and being part of the memorial here. And hoping today I'm going to make the first move to go to Bradford City and pay my respect there. I've never been ever since '85 as well.
Kassam Chibu ending that report by Helen Steele. Now, still to come here on Calendar, we'll head back live to Sheffield, where United's promotion party is underway.
And some nice warm sunshine again today, but the clouds bubbled up. We had some heavy and thundery showers and a fair few downpours. Have we finally said goodbye to the showers Friday into the weekend? All the detail a little later on.
Now to the growing number of young people who realise they've been born into the wrong body.
Last year, according to a study commissioned by NHS England, there were more than 5,000 children questioning their gender identity compared to 250 children 10 years ago.
We've been speaking to the family of one of the youngest transgender children in the UK. He's called Stormy, and our reporter Chloe Oliver went to meet him.
My name's Stormy and I'm 6 years old and I'm transgender.
He's cheerful, he's friendly, he likes playing with cars, also likes playing with dolls.
What's the overriding thing about Stormy? I wouldn't say Stormy is transgender. The overriding thing about Stormy is that he's grown up for his age.
Just like any 6-year-old, Stormy from Doncaster loves nothing more than playing football with his dad. His parents say as soon as he could speak, he always wanted to be treated as a boy.
At first, we went through kind of talking to him about things like, you know, you don't have to wear girly clothes, and we kind of went shopping and said, you know, you can wear like tracksuits, you don't have to be all, you know, feminine. And then I talked to him about female role models, you know, like footballers, and we watched some footballers and we watched some people in the army, you know, women in the army. And so I wanted him to know that, you know, females could be strong.
Someone's just always a boy. That was the thing, always just a boy. Always really confused as to why I'm not a girl, I'm a boy.
So Stormy's now 6 and he identified as a boy from 18 months?
Yeah, about
A bit more than that, he's probably just after his second
birthday.
Our second birthday. So what would you say to people who say that that is too young?
You know, do we say you have to be 4? Do we have to say 5? Is it 10? Is it 13? You know, what is the age? You know?
I think it's a really difficult one. It is difficult because like I said this before, you can't tell what transgender is. I didn't know when I was 2. I think Stormy really knows, other than that's his label that he's got. He just is a boy, and that's it.
And it will make life harder for Stormy, but what makes life harder is, you know, him needing counselling because we didn't let him be who he was.
And what would you do, say, if Stormy tomorrow came in and said, actually, I want to be a girl?
Fine, no problem.
I'd do that.
Yeah, I have to go shopping for a new wardrobe.
Stormy isn't alone. Recent NHS figures show a notable rise in the number of young people seeking help for gender identity issues. There's also thought to be around 50 children a week in the UK referred to help with their gender identity. Stormy has socially transitioned, which means he's adopted a new name, pronouns and clothing, but he's made no physical changes nor takes any hormones. Healthcare professionals like Jenny Reid in Sheffield are keen to stress that children who believe they're trans should undergo careful medical assessments before making any long-term decisions.
We would always recommend that parents listen to their child first and foremost and take their views and experiences and feelings very seriously, that they go at the child's pace, so that might mean taking small steps, trying things out and seeing how it feels for the child, or it might be that the child is very sure of what they need and we'd want the parents to honour that sureness as well.
Stormy's parents say they're open with him about what lies ahead and will do whatever it takes to make their son happy.
Everybody should be happy and everybody should be themselves.
Oh, it's lovely.
Yeah,
isn't
no,
it?
absolutely. Very, very lovely indeed. Yeah, and if you or someone you know has been affected by any of the issues raised in Chloe's reports, then you can find support from a variety of organisations as well as extended interviews on the ITV News website.
The effects of rising food prices are being felt by people across our region, with some items costing 50% more now than they were this time last year.
Experts have told ITV's Tonight programme they're concerned that wages aren't increasing at the same rate as skyrocketing costs, leaving people struggling to cope. A government spokesperson says it plans to meet supermarket leaders to discuss the issue.
It doesn't matter at one level if food prices go up, as long as wages are high and you can afford it. That's what the case is in France and in other European countries. But Britain has got a problem. It's got high food price inflation with low wages.
Now, Kerry's with us in the studio. Did you have to dodge the storms this morning, Kerry? Come on, tell us.
Yeah, sure did. For a third day running, a third day of heavy and thundery showers. We've also had some great photos. We had some thunder and lightning over the last few days, so a big thank you to Dave Robinson for this shot in Wilberforce, and also today some convergence lines. So basically winds from two different directions meeting, and the air and the moisture gets forced upwards to form little bands that you can see there developing during the course of the day. They can produce large amounts of rain in a short amount of time in a small area, and if unstable enough can also produce some thunderstorms, which of course we have also had over the last few days. So yes, an unstable air mass. If there's enough instability in the air, the updraft of that warm air is rapid and the water vapour will quickly form a CB, a cumulonimbus cloud. Definitely seeing a few over the last few days, but also a few funnel clouds spotted. So this was posted on Twitter earlier from our Met Office site at RAF Lima. You can see that one there, and there's a little one trying to develop there.
It does make for dramatic photos.
It does. Sue caught this one yesterday near Winterset. Obviously, it's not a tornado until it hits the ground, and that doesn't happen very often. They often dissipate or they just lose their energy. So they only last for about 5 minutes. But yes, so well spotted, definitely well spotted.
So you don't have to panic if you see that in the sky necessarily.
No, I'd be a wow. I'd be a wow if I saw that.
Just be impressed.
Yeah,
I've never noticed one.
Yeah, no, I've never seen one, but there's time yet for us, Lara. There is, but not tomorrow. It's drier.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
While I'm here, I've got another chance to tell you about the return of the People's Project, where up to £70,000 is given to good causes, bringing people and communities together. The People's Project is your chance to decide which 3 deserving local groups will win National Lottery funding through the National Lottery Community Fund. All that stands between them getting up to the 70k is your vote. So each night next week on Calendar, we'll be featuring one of 5 People's Projects competing for your vote.
Thank you very much, Kerry. Well, it's a lot of money, isn't it? So the voting that you need to know about is for the People's Projects. It opens at 9 in the morning on Monday, the 15th of May, and it closes at 12 noon on Friday, the 26th of May. You can only vote once per region, and you will need an email address or mobile phone number to vote. Terms and conditions and the privacy notice can be found at itv.com/the People's Projects.
Now, Chesterfield Football Club fans turned out today to see their team off as the side heads for Wembley. The Spyrites will face Notts County in their playoff final on Saturday, with a place back in the Football League the prize for Paul Cook's men. It's thought promotion could be worth £1.5 million to the club, and comes after Chesterfield's thrilling 2-1 win over Bromley in the semi-final last weekend.
They were brilliant, brilliant.
Give us a prediction then.
3-1.
I spent about 5 hours queuing for tickets.
I must have been on my phone about 20 times in queue.
Always play well against Notts County, and I think they should do all right.
And staying with football, it's time to head back to the Steel City, where Sheffield United fans are eagerly awaiting the team's arrival on an open-top bus.
Yes, Chris Dawkes, the lucky him, has had one of the best seats in the house today. What's it looking like now, Chris?
Yeah, it's looking great, Michael. Welcome back to Sheffield Town Hall, by the way, where, as you can see, the party is just about to begin. Look at that. Hundreds have already here to welcome the players and staff who've made all this possible. They're due to arrive here in around about 10 minutes' time. We'll be hearing from some of them, those players, in just a few moments' time. But first, let's speak to a huge Sheffield United fan, the former Sports Minister, Richard Caborn. Richard, this must fill you with joy to see your city bedecked in red and white.
Oh, absolutely. It's fantastic. I mean, they're just waiting for the players now to arrive, and it's absolutely fantastic. It really puts Sheffield, on that sporting map again, and we'll be out there with the Premier League next season, with the big boys, as it were, and hopefully, like we did last time, we had a great season when we went up last time into the Premier League, and hopefully we can sustain that as well. But no, as far as Sheffield, I mean, Paul's done a fantastic job as manager, and the players have played absolutely fantastic. Also, remember, we went to Wembley as well, a semi-final. We played against Man City, was it, I think? That. But no, and tonight is really good because I've got my Derek Dooley tie. When Derek Dooley died, Sylvian gave me 2 ties, and this is one of it. And I only wear them on special occasions. And I put this on, I thought, there's a bit of Derek Dooley here tonight as well. So some of your viewers who knew Derek Dooley, fantastic, ambassador for the city, he's here tonight. So really, it is a night for celebration for Sheffield, there's no doubt. And the Blades have done it again.
Richard, perfect interview here. I only have to ask you one question and off you go. Thank you for speaking to us tonight, and congratulations on the freedom of the city as well.
Oh, thanks a lot. That was a great honour.
Richly deserved. Well, there you go. Richard Caborn there. Well, let's throw now to Arif Ahmed, who's live on one of those buses, winding its way here to the town hall. Arif, what's the atmosphere like en route?
Oh, Chris, this is absolutely incredible. Hundreds of fans have been following this bus all the way from this stadium. We're not too far away from you now, actually, and these will be memories the players will never, ever forget. I caught up with a few of them before they got on the bus. This is what they had to say.
I think the fans are going to turn out in their numbers. It's sunny, can't complain. We've been celebrating for a long time, but I think that's the right way to go about it.
How important is it to be able to celebrate with the fans?
I think it's massive because this season they've been our 12th man. I think our home record speaks volumes because of that, and they probably don't know. They've dragged us through some games where we've not performed, but because of them we've got the result, and we need to thank them, and I think today's the day for it, so we're buzzing.
It's always nice to give some back to supporters. They've been outstanding this season, and it'll be nice to go on the bus.
And next season, Premier League, how much looking forward to that?
Yeah, like anything, you move on to next thing, so we've got to try to enjoy the promotion, which the lads have certainly done, and the staff have, but obviously all thoughts are now on recruitment, which is the biggest part of football really. So there'll be a lot of negotiations, and hopefully we can bring some good players allied to the fantastic squad that we've got here already. The dressing room's outstanding, and long may that continue.
Looks to that they're having a lot of fun on that bus, doesn't it? Well, they're due to arrive here at the town hall in around 5 minutes' time. But look at the crowds here that have gathered here this evening. As you can see, they're really looking forward to welcoming their heroes here in Sheffield Town Centre. Amongst that crowd down there is Adam Fowler, and he's been speaking to some of the fans.
Buzzing. Yeah, so excited. Buzzing.
What's this season been like for you then?
It's unreal. Do you know, we come from Gainsborough, so it's really hard to get tickets. And then when we get it's only on the weekend, it's unreal.
I mean, if they put some cash into the club and get some few more players, yeah, maybe things will turn out all right for us.
Seeing Sheffield United in the Premier League, honestly, it's my dream come true. It looks like your daughter's in the mood as well. Is that a vuvuzela?
Yes. She's getting a bit rusty with it. She's just got to learn how to blur the horn and everything like that, but she'll get there.
I think we'll stay up. I mean, stay at Prem for 2 years.
I loved every minute. Wembley, everywhere. We've been home, away, loved it. Extra special, especially for this one. It was growing up to see it all.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Well, did you know that when Sheffield United beat West Brom a couple of weeks ago, it was the first time they've actually been promoted to the top flight at Bramall Lane since 1971, and part of that team back then was the legend Tony Curry, who on one particular occasion when he scored, John Motson famously said, "A quality goal by a quality player." Well, I'm delighted to say that quality player joins me now. Tony, do you have anything like this back in 1971?
Oh, well, we're only talking about it, me and Ted Emsley, a couple of days ago, and all I can remember is going into the director's box after the match and waving to the fans all on the pitch. I can't remember a do afterwards or the town hall, but apparently we did the town hall. It's a long time ago, I'm afraid.
How big an achievement is this for the team, what they've done this season?
Well, this year it is a big achievement, I think, because I don't know whether we were one of the favourites to go up, but you know, with the injuries we had and all other things that was happening, suspensions, etc., it's been a phenomenal, and the achievement's been very, very high, and the management team have been fantastic. Eki should be manager of the year. The team, you know, they've been phenomenal. We've been up there all season, as I said, and we've got over the line in a lot of games, and yeah, they've deserved every bit of success and all this that they've got.
Tony, thanks for joining us tonight. A quality interview from a quality fella as well. Well, next season they'll get the likes of Manchester City, Arsenal and Liverpool down here at the Steel City. And you know what, with backing like this, well, they might do all right, might they?
Oh, Chris Stokes live in Sheffield. Thank you very much indeed. You can almost feel the energy coming from Sheffield City Centre tonight, can't you? And I bet those Blades fans can hardly believe their luck.
Yeah, and I think Chris is right. They will do well, won't they? Here's Kerry now with the weather.
Good visibility on the horizon. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Yes, hello again. Definitely another showery day across the region today, and that was after a relatively dry, sunny and calm start in places. Those waters out into the North Sea. Calm this morning, but a few ripples by tomorrow morning. We are expecting the winds to freshen, but we say goodbye to the showers from today. It will be drier as we head into tomorrow, but with that cloudier skies and a cooler feel. And then high pressure keeping things fairly settled for Saturday and for the start of Sunday, and relatively warm, but we have got a weather front approaching from the west by the very end of Sunday into Monday. So in the meantime, we've still got the risk of a few heavy showers over the next hour or so, but quite quickly they should fade overnight tonight as that northeasterly takes over, dragging in quite a lot of cloud and some moisture and some mist and murk into the early hours. Nothing too chilly, but there will be that northeasterly breeze out towards the coast by the time we reach tomorrow morning. Never has a bin looked so handsome. This is Scarborough first thing in the morning, 5:10 and 8:56 are you sometimes as we head into tomorrow. So for tomorrow, a mostly dry day, quite cloudy, little bit of mist and murk, some dampness in the air at times for tomorrow. West always best for drier and sunnier conditions, highs of around 13 or 14. So just below the average, a bit of a wind chill with that northeasterly, especially out towards the coast. And that's the way things will start as we head into the weekend. On Saturday, relatively dry but quite cloudy, but hoping for a little bit more sunshine to develop during the course of Saturday, and it will feel quite nice and warm in the sunny spells. On Sunday, mostly dry and bright and warm to begin, an odd shower, but there will be rain later and into Monday.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
There you go. Dry from tomorrow into the weekend, but still a few showers out there this evening.
And hopefully staying dry for those fans in Sheffield. There's lots of them to potentially get soggy.
That cloud looking a little bit dark, wasn't it, earlier?
Let's head back, shall we? Let's just take a look again at those amazing scenes in Sheffield this evening. Look at that, thousands of fans packed into the city centre to celebrate Sheffield United's promotion back into the Premier League. What a night it is going to be there.
I don't think the weather will dampen the mood there.
Certainly
they're going to have a fantastic time. Thanks for watching.
Good night.
Bye-bye.